I did want to mention to you, you said something where we're sitting here talking about JT, and for folks, and I think most people know this by now, he passed away on Saturday at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got word when?
I got word Saturday morning. Matter of fact, Representative Massengill and Big Country both called me and told me they had heard about it and told me about it first thing Saturday morning. So
you showed up on his program quite a bit too.
Yeah, he and I became pretty good friends over the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this morning and over the weekend. I don't know. I've been on this show probably 30 or 40 times at least over the years, and we talked about different things from Chinese chickens to mental health to Mississippi State Bulldogs to Merry Christmas to, I think, one of the reasons why we have some of the trooper schools funded over the last few years was from the conversations that he and I generated in his passion for pushing trooper schools, and I even think that I would like to give him credit for the death benefit, that the conversations that he and I had with Chief John Pope, because you remember JT was from Collins. The Chief John Pope is the fire chief that's over the president of the Firefighters Association. Mm-hmm. When we increased the death benefit from $65,000 to $100,000 for the line of duty for the Law Enforcement and Firefighters Association, JT got behind that pretty hard, and he pushed that. And that was before we had so many law enforcement officers that were killed in the line of duty. JT got behind that really hard, and he pushed that issue really hard for us on that. And that's the way JT was when he really got behind the issue. His passion and just really took over, and he just was just a great guy, and he cared so much about this state, and just a great guy and great friend, and I was just proud to call him a friend, and proud that he loved me and was just great to me over the years.
He did when we came through this SuperTalk family together. I was here with the Mississippi Network before we even had SuperTalk on. Of course, he came on over when the first station was there. But we've seen it grow together. And we had the opportunity to watch the power in the audience grow from one station to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7, 8. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And when that happened, the audience continued to grow. It was an amazing thing. And you just can't replace that. You can't have that shared experience with someone. And that's a memory that dies with him. But he was a great guy. He really was. Here's one of the memories I have, because I started out as the general manager for the station while I was doing some other things for the Mississippi Network. And I came over, and this is the way Big Daddy came about, because when Dave was with him, and it was the JT and Dave show back then, Steve, the owner of the company, was Big Daddy, and they were calling me Little Daddy as the general manager. But then I was on the air, and it was a wonderful time to go through this process. But all through it, when he was on the air, and his program consisted of calls. He loved to talk to the people. And one thing I do remember about him, no matter what the topic was, we could be talking about those traffic cameras. He could be talking about the trooper school. If anybody brought up food, man, you talk about a right turn, and it would be humorous, and we all kind of watched for it, because if somebody said the word barbecue, we're gone. We're going. That conversation is going to be there, and we could have 5 recipes before we came back on that topic. But that was the wonderful thing about JT.
I remember the last interview that I did with him. He called in, and we were talking about state parks, and Dave Hughes was sitting in the chair there, and and it was on Valentine's Day, and it was Nandy's Candies, and I think that was one of his favorite live remotes. And he called in that day, and he was passionate about state parks, was something else that he was passionate about, and he loved Nandy's Candies, and he hated that he couldn't be live that day on that remote, and he would go in and he was giving all the descriptions about everything that Nandy's and Candies, and you thought that he was right there because he had done that remote so many times, and he was explaining all the strawberries dipped in chocolate and everything, and you thought he was right there on that remote, and he was so
mentioned
passionate.
a little bit earlier this morning, I think, if there's a conversation going on at the broadcast booth upstairs with JT and Dave and Jack Crystal together in one room up there somewhere, and they're all talking football and food and
don't you know they're
else.
celebrating that national championship together today?
Let's talk politics when we come back, but it was good to spend some time on